Hey, good morning.
Hey, good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
So how are things with you guys?
Things are going very, very well, man. We live in Frisco, so it was quite a little bit of a drive to get here first thing in the morning.
Already
But,
complaining. Already complaining.
He was
But
in the
we're here.
passenger seat.
Yeah.
He's like, why are you doing this at 8 a.m.? I'm like, because nobody else is doing it. You know?
Yeah, but we're here, man. We're here, and thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, don't.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm. Don't get shy on me now.
I gotta get my feel. I have to get my feel.
Get into the mic. You know.
Mic check.
Yeah.
Check.
So it's funny because last night I was talking to Yale and
Okay.
I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, watch this show. I want to get you on here one day because he hates video.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
he's one of the, y'all know him,
and he's a beast.
Yeah.
He's
like
beast
one of the
in
biggest
REI.
guys in DFW.
Absolutely.
And
And he's a Michigan State Spartan, so shout out to my buddy Yale.
but nobody really knows. Well, everybody knows him, but they don't really know him.
Yeah.
And then, but I was like, hey, one of these days we'll get you on the show, whatever. He's like, and then he's like, actually, and I said, well, Marsha and Jake, that's the first question. And then Marsha and Jay are going to come out, and he's like, yeah, well, we just had a property, blah blah blah. I was like, can we call you on it? He's like, no. So that's my first question. Is it Jay or Jesse?
So for the record, my name is Jesse Coleman, but I actually go by Jay Coleman. So most people know me as Jay Coleman.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm Marsha Coleman, just Marsha. There's no nickname, Marsha.
There's no secrecy there. There's no craziness.
Just come up and say, "Hey, Marsha."
Hey, Marsha. So what is it that y'all do? I know what y'all do, but
Yeah.
I mean, in this business, and primarily most of the people that probably get come through here are the real estate niche, because that's the niche I've been in the past 2 years, because I've only been in this business 2 years. Because I'm only 26, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll give it to you. Sure.
You'll go with that.
Yeah.
So I know. Like y'all's big thing is co-wholesales. Y'all's big thing is joint ventures and working with people.
Absolutely.
So what does that even mean?
Yeah. So primarily, Marsha and I have actually been in real estate going on 4 years now. And we primarily have a wholesaling company, and the wholesaling company is JMC Property Group. And essentially what we do is we primarily wholesale, but we have took some deals down before, and we do hoteling as well. But we're really, really known for like our wholesaling business, and we're also known for like doing a lot of JV deals, which essentially JV, there's a lot of different names for JV. One name for JV is joint venture. That's actually what Marsha and I actually kind of prefer to call it, but some other people may call it co-wholesales. And essentially what we're doing is we're partnering with people in the market, other wholesalers, new and experienced wholesalers, and we're helping them get their deals across the table. And it's been a great niche for us, and definitely love to talk about it when you're ready.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing, because like it's funny that you call it joint ventures, and that's one thing about this business, especially with the wholesaler world, is there's a lot of words, but there's a lot of people say the same thing, but they use different words. But for like me, when I think joint ventures, I'm thinking flips, I'm thinking you own stuff, because co-wholesales is just, okay, cool, I do part of the work, you do the part of the work, and we make money.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I don't really see that as a joint venture.
Right.
I just see that as hey, we're working together on this singular project,
Yeah.
co-working, co-wholesaling.
Yeah.
But again, for me, the joint venture is when you're doing something a little bit more robust. You're in it.
Yeah. And I think and that's interesting. And again, I think that everybody, at least for me, I think that everybody kind of has like their own definition of it. But when I think of joint venture, I think of partnership. So I think that that's what that term to me kind of reflects as, is partnership. So when I'm thinking about partnership, I'm thinking that you can almost partner on almost anything, So for us, we partner on deals. So essentially, Marsha and I, because we are in our company, JMC Property Group, is established here in the DFW market, and we've done deals virtually as well, but we're established here in the DFW market. We're actually able to have great relationships with a lot of our buyers and a lot of repeat business. So we're established here from a buyer base. So when a wholesaler is, say they're brand new, when we're joint venturing, we're bridging the gap somehow. So either we are bringing a buyer, like the wholesaler may already have the contract, and we're just partnering with it and bringing a buyer. But sometimes it requires a little bit more during the joint venture. Like sometimes they may not have the contract just yet. Maybe they're just talking to the seller and they need help analyzing the deal. Maybe they need help with like the contract and understanding that. Maybe they need help with, hey, what marketing channels are you guys doing to find like leads or whatever? Because I'm ready to start talking to people. So I mean, Marsha and I, we've done the whole process. We've done plenty of deals to where we've done it from the beginning phase all the way to the end phase, that we know when we're talking to this person where the gap needs to be bridged in order to make that deal successfully cross the line, or at least have an opportunity to cross the line.
And it's funny because when you were talking about that makes a little bit more sense to me, because when I think co-wholesaling, I'm thinking you brought the contract. I'm not talking to sellers. I'm not looking at the house. All I'm doing is an email blast.
Yeah.
And because of my email blast, I want 30%. I want 50%.
Yeah.
I want 100%. I want whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, co-wholesaling is Randy Quay. Are you familiar with Randy?
Yeah.
He's probably one of the biggest co-wholesalers in DFW.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you look at I haven't seen one of his emails in a while, but his emails, at least it used to be like 30 properties deep. And you're like, there ain't no way he's looking at 30 properties.
Yeah.
That being said, have you ever been on a property that Randy's looked at before?
Yes, we've done deals with Randy.
Yeah, we've done deals with Randy. Yeah.
Well, this is years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
Shout out to Randy Quay.
Randy Quay here in DFW. That's my radio voice. But I remember, you know how like the worst appointment you can ever go on is when it's a open season. And you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, we're having a little open house. Come see it at 1:15 on Saturday. And you get there and you're like, there's no parking.
Yeah.
And you walk up and it's more of like a real estate meetup.
Yeah.
So I went to one of those probably 6-7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And everyone's there. And it was the point where it's like, there's no point even walking the house. Like, because this is a crappy house. I mean, obviously. And some new investor is going to offer way too much, and there's just no point. So let's just use it for networking. Here's my card. Let's just network. And but nope, Randy Quay was out there, tape measure, like going through his straight up beast mode of analyzing property. So and shout out to Randy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So as far as partnerships, what's it like working with Mr. J, Jesse? Ms. Marsha?
Well, I would say that it's an exciting journey.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's a good word.
We're married, so we're not only business partners, but we're life partners as well. And so
I'm a lucky man.
I'm sorry?
I'm a lucky man.
Yes, he is. And I'm a lucky woman. So I would say that it's a crazy journey. We think very, very differently. And I think guys and girls think differently anyway, but in business, we have two very different ideas. But one of the things is we're always aligned on the goal, the main objective.
Yep.
And because we're aligned, we're still trying to get to the end point. We just have two different ways of getting there. And I think the work part comes into is how do you compromise so you can get on the same page in terms of how you get on that, how you progress through that journey. But we think very differently. We beef about business or what have you. And then, you have that thing where, all right, I may be beefing with my business partner, but now I want to talk to my husband. So it's like, okay, I don't want to talk to Jay. I want to talk to Jess. So how do I transition? And a lot of times you have residue from one or the other. Whether you're, talking from a marriage perspective and then you got to go into business partner mode.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's interesting that, my first question, which was kind of comedic because it's kind of the ongoing thing.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of gives me a little more insight on it, the Jay Jesse thing. And I wonder if more marriage partnerships that work together, if they had dual names for their partners, that way it's like if I'm talking to Jay, it's work mode.
Right.
If it's Jesse, it's cuddle mode.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly how it is too.
So but then if you are cuddling and then, hey Jay, he's like, oh shit.
Now, if I call him, like literally, if I call him Jesse, like, and we're just having a regular conversation, I'll be like, Jesse, he'd be like, oh snap. She's mad because I don't call him that.
Yeah.
So, or if I call him Jay, but if I call him Jesse, there's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Has that little sparkle in her eye. I'm like, what did I do? What did I do now?
Is it the Shaggy song? It wasn't me.
Right. Exactly.
So you're talking about the being a partner in life, a partner in marriage, and a partner in business, all for the singular goal.
Yeah.
Or the target.
Mm-hmm.
What is that target?
So
Freedom.
Yeah. That's absolutely the why.
We're in it for freedom, and then I'll just it's about time, and you need at the end of your journey, when we live our life and when we get to the end, if you're not taken suddenly, you will you may sit and reflect, and at the end of the day, you always want more time, and that is something that you can't pay for. There's no price upon it. So it's like if you can live your best life now, and to say at the end of the journey, we're believers. So at the end of the journey, I want God to say, well done, good servant. You've won the race. But I can't do that if I'm not really living. If I'm just in survival mode, if I'm just existing and I'm really, really not living, I'm not giving it my best. It's not what anybody else's journey. There's no comparisons or whatever. What makes me happy, if I go after it and I give it everything that I got and I'm just in it until the wheels fall off, I've lived my best life.
Yeah, I agree with Marsha. I mean, she hit it right on the nose. I mean, that is literally our why. Like literally our why is living life on our own terms.
But isn't that like I don't want to say it's a cop-out answer, but it's the singular answer that every every real estate investor have. It's always, I want freedom. I want to live my life the way I want. I want time. I want to do this. And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with it. I'm all for that. But at the same time, at some point, it's like, if everybody has the same damn answer, when is there room for uniqueness? When is there room for...
Because it's layers to it.
Right.
You can say, yeah, I want time, or freedom, but that's freedom as you know it in that space. When you get into the space and you experience a little bit more or something like that, there are layers to it. And when you get to that different layer, you're going to want maybe a different type of freedom, a different type of time, but the end result remains the same. It's just levels to it.
Right. And it's about what you want to do with that time, because anything in life, I feel like you can get back. Any amount of money you can gain, you can lose, you can get back. Credit, you can gain, you can lose, you can get back. A lot of things in life you can get back, but your time, you only live once. I mean, this is it right here. So it's like, if this is your time and this is your one shot at it and you will never have that time back, yesterday is gone. 1 year ago was gone. 5 years ago is gone. I mean, you only have like right now in the future. So it's like you need to enjoy the moment right now as you're planning for the future. I think that for me personally, I think that one of the traps that I would say that I got myself in, that a lot of entrepreneurs get themselves in really early in my career, was I was so focused on the end goal, I was kind of forgetting to live today.
Right.
And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs kind of have that struggle, especially as you're building a business. Even when you're extremely successful, I just think that you just have that mind. You're so focused on, man, this house is going to look 5 years from now. I'm building, but you're forgetting to live for the moment. And I think that for us, our why is living life on our own terms. It's also focusing on living and enjoying the time in the moments.
And one thing, it's interesting. Well, I was rewatching the episode I did yesterday with TJ, and for notes of myself, how do I tweak, whatever. Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed is I always say, it's interesting. It's like, damn it, stop saying that. Anyway, but it's interesting to me. There I go again. The whole live for time, live for this. And one thing I don't think anybody really talks about, at least I haven't heard, is everybody remembers being a child and their parents saying, hey, when you get older, life just starts going.
It does.
And you're talking about living each day for its day. One thing that I know I suffer, and I don't like the word suffer, but one thing that I notice about me is when I get caught up in the grind, my blinders are way high.
Right.
And I don't think about the future. I don't think about, oh, I only have 10,000 more days on this planet Earth, and next thing you know, you wake up and you're like, holy shit. I mean, like,
right.
Because literally, it's like I just turned 39 like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm old as hell. You know?
Oh my goodness! If you think 39 is old, man, we got you beat so bad, brother.
What's the saying? Black don't crack.
Right? You know? Yeah, you know, it might look good, but you know, we're up there in age.
No, but my point being to that is the fact that hey, you got to rep that set.
Exactly, rep your set.
Rep your
no, it's rep yo set.
That's what I say. I was like,
I tried to
don't be like, oh, since there's a camera, I gotta have my grammar on.
Yes, represent your set of circumstances. No. Hashtag.
Yes. Hashtag I went to college life. I don't know.
I spent a lot of money on college. I'm still paying for it now.
Where'd you go?
I went to DePaul in Chicago. So
yeah, absolutely.
Blue Demons, we don't. We're not.
You know,
athletically.
You know what my favorite saying is of all time?
What?
I don't care. And you know, it's
you
funny.
need to care about DePaul.
I know, but it's funny because like a friend of mine gives me shit because she's like, but now she's kind of come over to my point of view. She's like, you know what, you're right. Like, because anytime you start complaining, people, they care about you and they want to help you and they want to give you a shoulder to vent to or cry to or whatever, but they don't care. You know? Anyway, so what I was saying with the timing is like as you get older and then you get caught up in that grind, you get caught up in that project, and if you aren't living for that freedom aspect, if you don't like, do you know Freedom Johnson?
Yeah.
Yes.
What I love about him is even when
family man,
but you know, I guess he's an established investor now, but you know, I met him 2 years ago when he was just getting started out. It's just like, he's like, nah, at 5 o'clock, you know, phones are off and it's family time.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the right way. It's like, he may have stunted his growth a little bit as an entrepreneur, but I mean, at the end of the day, if he's got that standards in place from the very beginning, you know, when he does successful, it's already habit. Yeah.
He has a,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Freedom. I think that shout out to Freedom Johnson. I think that he has a wonderful spirit. I've had the opportunity to meet him. Marsha's had an opportunity to meet him. We actually know him. And you know, he definitely is a family man, has a wonderful spirit. And I you know, on to your point, I think that I actually kind of applaud that or whatever as well, because that to me is truly living life on your own terms. I mean, because at the end of the day, you can go out here and crush business and you can go out here and have all these goals and do all of this stuff, but you got to remember, why did you start doing it in the beginning? I think that your why sometimes can get lost as you start trying to amass and become greater and things like that. Sometimes you can lose that why. And at the end of the day, the why is really the center in the nucleus of you. So it's like, if your why is your family, like for me, my why, you know, is living life on my own terms. But what motivates me in my why is my wife and my daughter. So it's like, at the end of the day, we can go out here and crush business, do well wholesale, open up new businesses like JMC on the go. But at the end of the day, and, you know, push JMC Realty Group, you know, I had to throw that little marketing piece out there. Ryan's laughing, but
rep your set.
But at the end of the day, you know, it's like, I'm doing all of that and all that's great, but I'm doing it all for my family. That's the center of where it's kind of happening. And I think it's important to remember that, so you don't lose yourself. Very easy to lose yourself.
Well, and that was
as an entrepreneur,
and that's what I don't want to stay all day because I hate. I mean, again, everybody's like, "What's your why?" It's like to me it's the and I know not everybody's the same, but for me personally, like I hate that kind of content. Like, I'm more of a fast forward, get to the meat. What's the point?
Yeah.
ruin the movie for me, ruin the story for me, just so I know it's worth getting to.
Yeah.
So like, but like the why thing is just, it's not me. But again, though, when I get caught up in it,
Right.
because to me, maybe it's because I don't have a why. I don't know.
Mhm.
But for me, it's get in the grind, go. But then and it's not regret, but it's just it's more like, for me, is like either I'm an idiot or I'm more dumbfounded. But like, holy shit, it's been 5 years, or it's been 3 years, and did you just waste all your time doing that thing? Are you better? What are the benefits? What are the losses? And then if you do follow content like Gary Vee, it's like, and like what you're talking about, of time, everything, and freedom, and I, not freedom, but like the human freedom, is, it's kind of funny anyway, but is the fact that everything comes back to time. You know, everything is like, the reason you work is so you can have more time to do whatever the hell you want, more time with your family, more time traveling. But for me, it's like, I'm more dumbfounded with myself of, am I unique in the fact that I just have these blinders and I'll just go? You know, I've talked about this on Propelio a lot, of just like with Grant, of just like, just give me a wall, I'll break it down. Damn the consequences, or 100 hours, 1,000 hours, whatever. We have an event coming up in Houston. I don't think I'll probably sleep this weekend. You know, it'll probably be all work.
Well, I think it's different. Like, so are you married, Ryan?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Soon to be, you know, one of DFW's most eligible bachelors over here.
Right.
Do you have any kids?
No.
Okay.
I have a dog.
You have a dog. Okay. So I think that it depends also kind of like on what's going on or whatever in your life. Like, I think that like, if you are like a single guy, or you're like a single woman, and you know, you don't have like kind of the responsibilities of a child or the responsibilities of a family, you know, I think that it's a lot different. I think you can be a little bit more kind of like, not necessarily self-centered, but you can more focus on self and just kind of focus on a lot of, you know, just stay the path. But like, when you have other people, you know, that are kind of relying on you, you know, they have to be considered, or whatever, you know, they have to be considered. So it's a little bit different there, in my opinion.
I think that when you're single, you can be hyper focused.
Right.
And there is no one telling you to pull back. In order for you to pull back and get some other type of perspective, you are responsible for doing that.
Right.
When you are in a relationship, married, or what have you, you have a partner. And I would say that Jesse and I, like all the names, we balance each other out because we're very different. So at times he can get hyper focused, but there may be things from a family perspective that we may need.
Right.
Like, maybe we need you to be present right now.
Right.
So how do you convey that message?
I need you to be present right now.
Yeah, literally.
Like, I need you right now to be present, or I need you at 2:00.
Do you say it like that, with that face?
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Because it's not, it's not, we don't have a lot of time. So we have a daughter, she's like 17.
Yeah.
So there's
18 this month.
Yeah, she'll be 18
Shout
this
out
month.
to
So
Jasmine.
there's like, so he may have problems in terms of, okay, my baby is turning into a young lady to a woman. So it's like, as we're going through these times where she's going into woman, she's transitioning from a lady to womanhood. I need you to be present right here, right now, because you're her guide.
And maybe it's because I'm not married.
Yeah.
But like, the thought of somebody talking to me like that makes me go, excuse me?
But it's not a condescending.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. It's coming from a good place to be. That's what, when you're, so I'm his helpmate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's my helpmate.
Right.
So if I see something that we may, you know, okay, you may miss this. There's something coming up. There's this moment. You need to be present right now, because I don't want you to miss this, because you're not, because I'm telling you, it's because if you're not present and you miss this, you don't want to miss this. This is for you.
Absolutely. And I think
vice versa.
Yeah. And I think that, so for me, Marsha helps to keep me grounded, because for me, it's very easy for me to, get on that path like you, Ryan, where I'm just like, boom, just like super, super hyper focused. And, it's just like, hey, just let everything out of the way. I'm about to bust through the wall. And then, I'll get out here on this island. And then I have to remember, okay, wait. Okay. Yes, still do that. But yes, I have a family too. So let me keep that in mind.
So how does that, because y'all are a partnership, both in the home and in friendship and in business and in aspirations, goals, et cetera, et cetera. What if y'all are like, okay, let's conquer that damn mountain. But also, little Susie's got to have a doctor's appointment. Like, what do you do then?
I have some, but I'll let Marsha go first.
Go ahead.
So I would say so the biggest thing is, for the most part, Marsha and I have a lot of discussions. Like we talk a lot about how things look and what we need to do. So Marsha and I are both hyper focused already, kind of in what we are hyper focused in. Like she kind of like has her lane, I kind of have my lane, but at the exact same time, we're coming together. But like when we kind of feel like we need to get certain things done, that's just a time where it's time to kind of like just talk and say, hey, look, this can be an issue, or this is kind of what we need to get done. What do you think the best avenue for that is? Because as being, because we do the business together and we're married, like I don't want to just 100% always expect her to kind of take it on the chin, for lack of a better word. I need to be able to take it on the chin as well.
Listen, I know you and I respect you.
Yeah.
But I know her. Shoot. I don't see her, Marsha, ever taking it on the chin.
Yeah,
I do take it on the chin. No, I will take it on the chin. I will take it on the chin. I will.
I'm talking about from a place of strength, not from a place of like weakness. I'm saying like I'd be like, oh.
No, I do. I mean, it's kind of a give and take. So like if he's hyper focused, I'll try to do things, other things that may, fall by the wayside because he's focused. If I'm hyper focused, like for me, because we are home based as well, so we each have our own office. If I'm hyper focused, the door is closed.
Yeah.
Don't come in here unless it's important.
Yeah.
But he may do other things to help out or what have you to fill in that gap because I'm hyper focused. Like yesterday was like a really, really long day.
Absolutely.
I got in, it was like crazy busy. And when I got in, we have like our scheduled like date nights or whatever. So we had gone last night to see Bad Boys.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, great movie. But I had some appointments and a class or what have you. And I got home at 5:30, but we had a 7:30 movie. And I literally came home. I took off, I put my stuff down and I got in the bed and I just set my alarm for 7. So I greeted him to say, hey, babe. And then he didn't see me again. And then I felt him like come in the room and he was just like, are you sleeping right now? But it was like, I had nothing. And I was just I just needed a kind of a recharge so I could be present because we had date night.
Yeah.
So it's like he allowed me to do that, but it's like you need to be able to be be hyper focused, and then sometimes you also need a chance to check out because mentally you need to recharge. Because if I don't recharge, I'm not gonna be present the way you need me to be when we have our moment.
Yeah. And again, I'm not married, and I can't speak from a place of relationship maturity ever. But one thing I've always strived.
Yeah,
I've striven, pursued.
Yeah,
is the concept of comfortable silence. If you could find somebody you're comfortably like just. You don't even have to say, hey, we're not talking right now, but you're just comfortable in each other's presence versus always having to impress or conversate or anything. Then it's like, oh, okay, then you've made it as a couple. So it sounds like if you were able to just go in and pass out, Congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that there was anything that could have stopped me from passing out. I actually missed a meeting with somebody because I was just asleep, and I was like, I had to. When I got up, I was like, I looked at my phone, like, oh my God.
Yeah. Go! Just because we have so many things going on, and so many goals, especially for 2020.
Right.
So.
I was
overdrive.
I was expecting another subtle plug.
Another plug.
JMC Property Group.
Shout out to JMC Property Group and JMC on the go.
And JMC Realty.
So what is the JMC on the go?
So JMC on the go.
It's not a sales pitch. This is more of a just
right.
What the hell is it?
Right. So JMC on the go. We can't break the news just yet because we're still working on building the site. We should have that hopefully going by the end of the month. But what I will tell you about is JMC on the go is going to be it's fulfilling a great need in our market, and it's going to help a lot of investors out. It's going to help a lot of title companies out, and it's going to take a lot of tedious work off of people's plate so they can focus on the higher revenue generating activities.
So basically you're taking the Trump approach to like, it's just going to be great. What are you going to do? It's going to be great.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
Mega.
Right.
It's gonna be great. It's like, so what are the details? Don't worry about it. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna
be the best service out there.
It's coming soon. I mean, it's coming soon when
Make real estate great again.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. When it so it's coming soon, and when we're getting ready to launch it, obviously we'll be doing more of these shows with you, but when we get ready to launch it, we'll definitely let you guys know about it, and I guarantee it'll be it's gonna be a very valuable service.
Huge.
That's one thing I can tell you.
It's just gonna be a service. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great service. Yeah.
So let's get into more of the real estate side. Just because I'm always, especially with Propelio, and always trying to make sure you value add with all the events we've ever done. It's like, and coupled with the fact that, and I've already shared it today, is like I really don't care about like the journey or the why or whatever. Just like give me the nuts and bolts that could be action items. So as far as like going back to the co-wholesaling thing, why does one pursue that versus, hey, just get on Facebook and put it out there?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate a little bit?
In terms of getting help or something?
No. Well, sure. Like, hey, my name is Ryan. I had my first deal. I know y'all do the co-wholesaling. Can y'all help me out sell it? Or just post on Facebook. Because to me, it's like in this era of technology, you don't necessarily need to have a huge buyers list to put it out there. So I going back to y'all's approach about being what y'all are offering is the JV side of things versus just co-wholesaling. What's the elevator sales pitch to say, hey, work with you guys, maybe not you work with somebody like you guys versus just put it on Facebook?
Well, so the main does
that make sense?
Yeah,
it does.
I follow you. So essentially, kind of let me repeat back. So what I'm hearing you ask is, so why would somebody not just try to market the deal on their own? Why would they just kind of come to you? Why just come to you guys to get the assistance? And I think it kind of starts, I think the reason why JV'ing has been such a great niche for Marsha and I is because of what we can bring to the table. Like I said, different wholesalers are at different levels and stages of the game. So like, for instance, a newer wholesaler is like a seller lead to us, a motivated seller lead. So that's kind of like how we look at newer wholesalers. It's like it's a motivated seller need. It's like they have a need to learn, they have a need to earn, they have a need to understand the process. They have a need to want to get the deal across the table. That's kind of where we're coming in to kind of bridge that gap, because Marsha and I have done it. So they're learning as they earn. A lot of people will reach out and they'll say, well, hey, Jay and Marsha, do you guys mentor? Do you guys, I'll pay you some money to mentor. Can you teach me the game? Can you teach me the game? And I'll say, well, hey, I'm not going to necessarily charge you $10,000 or whatever, a $10,000 membership mentor fee or something like that. I said, I would rather partner on the deals with you, show you along the way how it needs to be done and how it needs to be done correctly. And then we just split some of the actual deal. So that way you're earning as you're learning.
And I think one of the other things is it's starting from the basis. And the basis is integrity, doing exactly what you say that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, from a newer wholesaler perspective, we're not saying, hey, bring the contract. We're saying, give us a call when you get the appointment so we can review the numbers. You know where you need to be. We know where we think that we can get it at from a buyer perspective. And then we bridge the gap. But every deal that you come across is not going to be a wholesale deal. Maybe there's not enough meat on the bone for it to meet that criteria, but we also have other tools in our tool belt where there maybe a creative strategy would work and you need somebody to walk you through it. Some people have the desire, they're going to go after it, but maybe they need assistance in building rapport or, meeting the potential client where they are, meeting them where they are, because a lot of times we're dealing with distressed sellers and you have financial distress, you have emotional distress. You can't necessarily deal with someone financially than emotionally. If somebody's emotional, they're not looking at, and I think of an emotional distress as like maybe a probate or something like that. At the end of the day, nothing that you say, you cannot quantify their home. They're looking at that piece of property as a memory. And to give that up, they're severing an emotional tie. You have to build a different type of rapport with them than a financial distress in terms of I made a choice to get myself in the situation, as opposed to life happened to me. So, and that is where those are the different types of skills and things, like working with the numbers, building rapport, but meeting you, if you're dealing with if it's an established wholesaler or something like that, they already have the contract. They're just saying, hey, you have buyers for this or whatever. But from a newer wholesaler perspective, we bring more to the table, and it is integrity.
So, and this goes back to the whole co-wholesaling, joint venturing. Mm-hmm. So it's all semantics, and at the end of the day, who cares what you call it?
Right.
But so this truly is joint venturing, because to me, that's not co-wholesaling.
Right.
To me, co-wholesaling is you have a bigger buyers list, go sell this thing.
Right.
For me. Mm-hmm. So for you to say, hey, you get an appointment, call me, I'll help you.
Right.
That's actually
partnering.
That's partnering. That to me, that's joint venturing.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, depending on what your cost per lead, cost per buy is, mm-hmm. Giving up 50% of the deal to get a deal is actually, it's not genius, because everybody does, not everybody, but to use that as a majority of your strategy is pretty unique. Because everybody has you go to any networking event. Yeah, if you get something, I'll work with you. I'll help you out. 50%. Well, let's go. Mm-hmm. But to actively go out there and push that, mm-hmm. I don't see anybody else doing that. And I think people are either naive or they just don't see the opportunity there, or they don't want to give up 50% of the deal because, like, man, but if I'm doing most of the work, it's like, you're doing most of the work on something that wouldn't have been there,
mm-hmm. And a lot of the times too. So because Marsha and I are established here, we have buyers. We know, as Marsha said, we have different ways we can structure a deal, and we have different exit strategies for the deal. So we have that potential to be able to convert more deals. So like, Marsha and I are familiar with owner finance, and how that structure works. Marsha's a realtor. So if a wholesaler has a lead where the person just wants top dollar, well, hey, that's a lead that you can probably pass to Marsha as a realtor. We can show you how to structure it, from the wholesale perspective. We can show you like, hey, maybe a rental buyer would actually buy this property. It doesn't necessarily fit like a traditional wholesale price, but man, this is great numbers for a rental for a buyer. Maybe that's the buyer we need to target. So I think that it's more analyzing the actual deal and determining what's the best way to make the most money on it. Because we've wholesaled with wholesalers before that we have buyers that will buy properties just sight unseen. So I'll give you an example. So we had a wholesaler recently last year that had came to us. They had a deal. And they were like, hey, I need hey, this is my very, very first deal. I need help moving this deal. And we said, so they actually spoke to Marsha. We told the wholesaler the price that they would need the deal in. They said that the tenant was a family member and they didn't want to move out. So whatever buyer was going to buy it would probably have to evict them. They didn't know what to do with that lead.
Calling Yale.
Right. Yeah. So we said, and this wasn't Yale's deal, but by the way, but yeah, so they reached out to us. We analyzed it. We said, okay, hey, let's do it at this price. We reached out to a buyer, didn't even have to blast it. The buyer ended up getting it. We made a $30K assignment fee on that deal, split it with the wholesaler. The wholesaler made $15K on their very first deal. You know, that easy.
You had something.
I forgot.
It's okay. No, well, because like I think more people would stay in, because that's what I was kind of talking with TJ yesterday about how is anybody that's been in this business more than 3 to 5 years that I know of personally, behind the scenes are like, oh my God, I hate houses. Like I just want to do anything to not get out of real estate, but just get out of dealing with the day-to-day houses side. But I think if all you had to do was go to appointments, assess a property, negotiate, get the contract, move on to the next one, I think that limits the annoyance there. Right. Because and I know nowadays, because I'm speaking from several years ago where like I was the initial phone call guy, I was behind the scenes guy. So I was responsible for a lot of the marketing. The phone calls come in and I do all that, schedule appointments, and then the other guys would go out. Nowadays, there's a bunch of VAs that do that. You could scale that out. So maybe that's where my mindset is going, oh, I hate taking phone calls because it sucks to be on a date and have to take a phone call at 9:00 on a Friday.
But it depends on what you're good at. If you're going to say, hey, I hate phone calls or whatever, I don't particularly like phone calls, but Jess can be on the phone all day. He can lock it up over the phone and all that. I'm more of a face-to-face. I'm probably going to want to go on the appointment. He's like, no, I want my time. And I'm like, okay, but I'm going to go on the appointment. But from a co-wholesaling perspective, I think that with the model that we have, we're able to bridge the gap in different ways. So, the deal is our product. The buyer is our customer. The co-wholesaler is somebody that we're working at. We're sowing a seed into them. Just like when we look for a buyer, we're not looking for a one-time shot with a buyer to do one deal. We're looking for repeat business. So we also look for repeat business from a co-wholesaling perspective. How can we help you? How can we sow a seed into you and, fill in that, bridge that gap of where you need to be, because we can have a mutually beneficial long-term relationship, and it's not just a one deal itis.
Yeah, we've helped a lot of wholesalers in our market move deals, but get their first deals too. And quite a few of them are doing really good right now. So.
But after that, do they still work with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they may call and ask questions because every deal is different. So you're going to run into a situation where you don't know what to do. We've run into situations recently. I think, you put out a Facebook post the other day, like, man, we have this one deal. Like, has anybody seen anything like this? And someone responded and they gave us a strategy that we weren't even aware of, but you're learning. Every deal is different. So you don't know what you don't know. You have to have community. And when you're helping somebody else and when you're sowing that seed, you're building a community. And there have been so many people that have poured into us, that have sown seeds into our lives, into our business. We call on them to this day for maybe a question or whatever. They may not necessarily monetize it, but they're a part of the community. And the real estate, the REI community is actually very small.
Right.
And you have to know, if I really need some help, who can I really call? That's going to give me the real answer, not try to screw me over.
And I think that Marsha and I are really focused on, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think Marsha and I are really focused on relationships too. Because I think that you have to come at it from a repeat business standpoint. So like, for instance, if Marsha and I have a deal in Arlington, sometimes I know I could make more money on the deal, but because we have such a great relationship with my buddy Yale Hamrick, shout out to Yale Hamrick, I may pitch the deal to him first. Yeah. I may pitch the deal to him first, like we just recently did. And I said, hey, is this a deal that you'd be interested in before I even blast it out? And yeah, may have took a little less than what we would have normally did, but I know that he's going to perform. I know it's a help out for him. I know he's going to be able to perform on it. It's not going to be any issues, and we can do business again. And it's like, same thing with the JV deals. We're pouring into these people, and as they get established and things like that, are they going to always need us? No, but we're always going to be there for them to help them. So when they do need us, we'll be there.
Yeah, and I like that you brought up, Marsha, about how the community is actually a lot smaller than what people think it is. Because I know at the Propelio events, we get anywhere from 300 to 800 people show up to those things, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,400 people sign up, and you have these big events, but the events change, the people change, but the and I hate to say the real people because I don't want to seem like I'm limiting who could be a part of that community.
The players,
right?
The real players.
Thank you, Jesse.
Here we go.
But yeah, the real players in the community, in the world, and because I think. And this is where, like, I don't know how to formulate my thoughts or say what I really mean, because I have on camera said with Grant before, it's like, look, you do want to help people, but there's a reciprocity there. Like, if I do something for you and you make money, you gotta pay me. You need to pay me, right? Because eventually that phone call, I'm gonna help you, right? But what's interesting to that is, if you called me and you're like, hey, can you help me out? Because there's that community, because there's that relationship, because you're real at that point. It's like the concept of asking for money, you don't even think about it.
Right.
Yale calls up, boom, TJ, boom, Marsha, Jay, boom, boom, whatever. Right. And then so on and so on. But if it's somebody you don't really have that relationship with, we're talking about relationships, that's when you're like, how much money am I going to make?
Right.
And it's interesting because at what point do you say you need to pay me? Or because if it's a new person reaching out, hey, how does this process work? How can I get help? Because if you get people asking questions all day, and then you never have that joint venture, and you never have something like, no, there's gonna be percentages,
right?
Because I know, like we've sat down, had a nice lunch a couple of weeks ago, and like half the conversations was about percentages.
Yeah,
even though we have a relationship there.
Yeah,
but there's an understanding of, boom.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's still opportunities to work together, do other stuff that you would never even have that conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
So I guess
and
what
I
I'm
think
saying,
it's about setting expectations
up front.
Absolutely. So it's like, you can asking a basic question is different than let me walk you through this deal, or something like that. And you have to be very intentional. So there's no speculation about what the objective is. The objective is for us to do the deal, do it together, and then this is what this percentage looks like. And the number one, in terms of relationships and leveraging relationships, the number one thing is, how can we make money together?
Right.
Or you can monetize the relationship, and then liking you and all that other type of stuff is secondary. If you're trying to do business.
Right. So for instance, when we joint venture, the majority of the time it's a 50-50 split. The majority of the time, but it's not always a 50-50 split. We have very seasoned wholesalers in our market that have had deals that they could not move, and they have came to us and we have helped them move the deal. In those scenarios, when they're seasoned like that and they just need help moving this deal, and we have a lot of kind of like the same buyers, but not all of the same buyers, because Marsha and I are always actively building our buyers list. We're actively networking like all of the time, but in that scenario, maybe it's not a 50-50 split. Maybe it's just, hey, you know what? Assign it to me at this price. Let's agree to a price that you'll assign it to me for, and if we can agree on that price, I'm okay with you assigning it to me. Just give me an option period. Give me a few days just to see what I can do with it. Let me get it out there in the universe, because I've never been a fan. I think for me, I'm not a fan of daisy chaining. I am not a fan of that. I am not a fan of, hey, if wholesalers feel free to, I'm not going to market somebody's deal and just try to add my fee on top if I have no equitable interest in the deal. Like I'm not a fan of that. The only way I'll do something like that is if I have a set buyer or a set couple buyers that I can reach out to that deal directly on and say, hey, you know what? Hey, I just had this deal come across my desk. Is this something that you'd be interested in? I could probably get it at this price. Let me know. But I'm reaching out to them individually. I'm not mass marketing it like some other wholesalers do in our market because first of all, it's illegal. That's brokering to be doing that type of stuff. But, I'm not a fan of operating that way. So when we're propositioning the JV or we're propositioning the assignment, we're more just asking for a few days with it because our buyers are fairly responsive if it's a good deal, and we can normally kind of get an answer like usually within the first 72 hours.
So at what point, because Marsha, you're talking about setting expectations.
Mm-hmm.
At what point is you helping do you have an internal barometer of going, okay, I've helped you a lot. Don't call me unless there's a deal, or do you ever, or is it's not a don't call me. It's more of a, you limit the conversations. Cause I know in my personal life, like there's people in my life that will call and get like, next thing you know, it's a 45-minute business consultation. And then I'm thinking to myself, you're not paying me. You're not dating me. What are we doing here?
So for me, it is what action are you taking? When we're talking or what have you, we're always talking about next steps and what's your next step. If you're just asking questions, but you're not doing anything, you're not taking any action or something, because you can take action and you can still bump your head along the way. It's like, yeah, I did this, and this, and I'm challenged in this area and I just need a little guidance or I need a different perspective or whatever. That's different. But if you're just calling just for questions, no, I'm not probably gonna, I'm gonna say, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I'll tell you exactly what I communicate to wholesalers when
he's more direct.
Yeah, So I'll tell you exactly what I say to wholesalers when I'm communicating information and I'm pouring into them. So I unselfishly want to see them be successful, and I want them to do it the right way. Because if they're doing it the right way, that helps our industry not get regulated as much because it's being done the right way. The regulations start coming in when things are not being done the right way or stuff starts looking shady or people are trying to be taken advantage of and that type of stuff. So I like to show them how to do it the right way. But at the exact same time, I communicate with them very clearly. I say, hey, I have no problem pouring into you. I'm not going to even charge you a mentorship fee or anything like that. But if I am pouring into you, I am expecting, for us to partner on a deal. So, hey, I'll help you. I'll answer your questions. I'll guide you to what needs to happen on this appointment, how the numbers need to look. No problem. But all I ask in return is that you partner on the deal with us. Because if you don't partner on the deal with us and you just say, thanks, sucker, for all the information, I'm going to remember that. So the next time you come to me and you need something, that relationship may be severed.
And we've been burned before. So people have taken the information or, we may have worked extra and they just may do something. There are unscrupulous people. Right. And just because you're new doesn't mean that you have good intentions or integrity or whatever. So we have been burned, but we still continue. I'm a firm believer of continuing to give you. You're sowing the seeds. You're putting that out into the universe, and the universe will yield back to you.
Absolutely.
But you can't let those bad apples deter you from doing. To still pouring in and sowing the seeds.
Because the right thing is the right thing, and that's what we're really focused on. Like when somebody thinks about Jay Coleman and Marsha Coleman, I want them to think about like, wow, Jay and Marsha. I think that Marsha and I have a very good relationship, a great rapport in our community. And I think that's because we're trying to do it the right way. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we make mistakes?
Absolutely
yes. But our intention is to do it the right way and to help people as much as possible. And I think that bleeds into the community. And I think that that's probably why we have a good, level of respect in our market.
About a year
with other people.
About a year ago, Grant Kemp and I, we just finished wrapping up a Grant Teach Me Something show, and we're about to go to lunch. Yeah. As we're walking out, this gentleman comes to the studio, and we're like, Because people know where it is, and they just show up. And we're like, and he's like, and he had a down on his luck story, and he had all of this paperwork for this potential deal, whatever. And Grant and I were like, well, we're going to lunch. Just come with us. If you have a deal, well, yeah, let's talk. Otherwise, just you ask questions in the comment feed or in a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes with us to lunch, and we actually buy him lunch, and he lays out this deal that he doesn't really know how to make money on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tight situation.
Mm-hmm.
Grant goes through and lays out all these different options to where suddenly he's able to make 30 grand, whatever. Bought a, scenario 1 this, scenario 2 this, scenario 3 this. And again, the guy had a down on the luck story. And anyway, the guy's like, well, I understand in the long run, I could do this and make a lot of money with you, but I really need to make, I need money now, because he had and it's like, okay. And at the end of the day, he went ahead and did that. And then Grant's like, and this is still, and I love Grant for this, but I don't have this in me. This is probably more of a Marsha, or maybe this is more of a Jay thing, but I don't have this. Grant just like, I'll have, and he wasn't mean about it. He was just very straightforward. That's great. And I understand your situation. You got to do what you got to do. That being said, I will never work with you again. And the reason being is, I just built your deal out. And I'm paraphrasing, so please don't judge Grant for this. But it's like, I just built your deal. I just structured it for you. And I just showed you how you could do those things. The skills that I have learned over the past couple of years, I have sacrificed a ton of time away from my family to learn.
Absolutely.
I paid a lot of money
Absolutely.
in missed opportunities with deals. I've given up a ton of percentages on money to deals for the knowledge I've gained.
Absolutely.
And I just gave it to you. And for you not even to cut me in on a deal or a partnership or a referral fee or some kind of just, hey, here's a 10% kicker for helping. And that's what I was getting at before is at what point do you go,
I think that,
hey, you need to pay.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Because it's not a defined. And I know you got to set expectations, but sometimes it's just kind of like it's like I don't watch baseball, but I know there's a lot of hidden rules in baseball.
Yeah, Houston Astros.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
There's a lot of hidden things there.
I'm just saying is like there's unwritten rules of real estate, and the biggest unwritten rule is if somebody is working with you, you pay them.
Absolutely. It's 100%. I agree with you, man. I'm so glad you said that. It's 100% an honor system. And if you don't have honor, I don't want to do business with you. Period.
Okay. So I think that there's a difference between, so if they're like doing something, where they're just like, no, I just need all the money for myself or what have you. And the hilarious thing is when I started getting hardcore, he's like, oh my God, they must have really did something. Cause now she's just like, no. But typically I am more, if something like we did a deal with a wholesaler, and he was like so fixated on this price or what have you. And I think it was like in East Texas or what have you. And
let's not say no names.
No, there's no names, but you never know what people are going through. Life is happening. It's like people can be out you may see them out, you may see them on social media and they look all happy, but they may be really going through something. And this particular wholesaler, he was homeless. Him and his family were in a car. And it was like, we took it on the chin. We did take a small fee, but in that scenario, we didn't know that going in, but we were like, why is he acting like this? Like, what is going on? Like, this is not normal. And then once he let us know what was going on, it was like, absolutely, I'm going to help you. No, we're going to take that on the chin. But a lot of times it's not like that. If the people are just trying to there's a difference between you're in a situation and I'm greedy. Right. And if you're greedy and you just want it for yourself and you're just like, yeah, okay, sucker, give me this information and I'm going to take no, we're not going to do business with you. But if you're in a situation or something like that, or just something happens, that's a case by case basis and, you're going to help. So and there was no issue.
And I agree, but disagree at the same time. And because in that situation, it's like, And I think people taking advantage, I think that's more rare than we think.
It's really not.
It's not more just
no.
everybody.
People will take your kindness for weakness, and
maybe that's my problem. Is
Even
I don't
buyer.
see that. I just think people are stupid. I think 99.9999% of humanity is just brain cell dead and stupid.
And I think they may be driven by money. They don't have a why. The money is what's driving. The
Right.
money is their why.
Greed. Yeah. It's just
But
greed.
if the money is your motivation, if that's it, it's just the money. It's not going to be sustained. It's not going to be somewhere along the way. You're going to lose your soul, and if you're just only about money.
I think that's exactly what it is, Marsha, because at some point, yes, the money is wonderful, but also what value are you trying to bring to the table? How are you trying to make the world a better place? You know, and for Marsha and I, that's why we love the JVing so much, is because it gives us the ability to be able to pour into someone and help them accomplish a goal. You know, because who knows what they're using that money for? I mean, obviously those deals mean food on the table. Those deals mean, hey, you know, I can get more marketing. I mean, I can take my daughter out. I can take my wife out. We can pay our house note. I mean, people are doing these deals for reasons, you know, so it's like, you know, for us to be able to be a part of that and to pour into them and to help them and to get that deal across the table, that's one way that Marsha and I are actually giving back to the community. It's bigger. To us, it's bigger than just a 50% of a deal, you know?
Right. And I think the point I was trying to make, though, is by me saying that people are stupid is that in my mind, maybe I'm naive and just I think the best in people. Yeah. It's not that they think that they're taking advantage. It's just, oh, you're just trying to help me. And where I was saying I disagree with that.
Trying to help us.
Right.
But where I was going back to the homeless situation is I understand your situation, but you got to think in terms of Freedom Johnson, where when he's early in his career, at 5 o'clock he's done, even though he knows he's sacrificing his ability to grow for the things that are important for him, because so then as he grew, he already has those set standards. So for my point and the reason how I'm tying that back is with the homeless person at the time is I understand that giving up $1,000, let's just say it's a $10,000 and they're giving you $1,000 or say it's a 50-50, 10,000 and 5 to him, 5 to you. And I understand that's a huge gut punch going, man, $10,000 is life-changing. But at the same time, this is the business you're in. And from my point of view is, hey, thank you so much for the deal, 5 and 5, here's that. And it should be on you to say, look, you're in a hard situation. So all I need is I need a fraction of my normal fee just to pay for not necessarily my time, but at least the gas. And so we're not setting the standards of charity here. Mm-hmm. And then because to me, then it's on you versus them. I think the standards should be there, and it should be you to say, look, you know what, you keep 100% of it. Let's JV on the next one. Let's get you to the next one. Let's get you established. But I think from the person that needs it, they should always offer it. Like, cause I'm one, it's like, even if I need it, it's like, if you're owed it, I'm going to offer it.
And they didn't
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And they didn't come to us saying, demanding anything. It was us to say, okay, let's do a little something different on this one.
Right. Because
of the situation. And I think that at the end of the day, real estate, what we're doing and being, having the exposure to this has been life-changing for us. It has changed. We were able to walk away from our jobs and truly live on our own terms. I'd never ever heard of wholesaling prior to even moving to Texas or anything like that. Didn't know anything about it, but it has been a stepping stone and a vehicle that gave us a different trajectory. And God doesn't bless you with just abundance and a whole bunch of blessings just so you can store them up. But like, yes, I've been blessed and I got this blessing and this. No, you have this abundance to pour in and to give to someone else so they can have a chance. And by the wealth of your experience, they may not face the same things that you went through. Because when we came here, we didn't know anybody. We knew no one really. We knew no one in the real estate world. So we had to kind of bump our heads along the way and establish. But it's like, if we're able to help someone else, we're a part of their community at the entry point of their journey. And we can all help, at some point in your life, you are going to need a hand, a lifeline, something. And if you are just focused on money and that's it, and just it's all about me, it is not it's not sustainable.
And it's about learning how to leverage yourself.
Yes.
Because if you just stay a solopreneur the whole time, you kind of have a ceiling on everything that you can do yourself. You can amass a lot of stuff, but obviously if you're a solopreneur, you're exchanging a ton of time to do that. So it's hard to extend yourself. But like when you start doing partnership opportunities, now you're presenting yourself with an opportunity to leverage. So like when somebody is partnering with us on a JV deal, say they focus on the acquisitions piece, and then we focus on handling like all the title concern stuff and the buyers and all of that. Now they can focus on the piece that they're good at, and then we're handling everything else. So now it's a lot easier for them to churn those deals because they're focusing on that one piece. It would be, to me, like the same as like you have a lot of wholesalers out here that have big operations, and I don't have to say names. I mean, we know who they are in the market. They have like these big operations. Well, the reason why they have these big operations is because they're trying to leverage themselves through other individuals because they have a business mindset. And that's what JV'ing allows you to do, is it allows you to leverage yourself to where it's not always 100% of your effort from the beginning to the end of the table, and that's what I love about it as well.
And to be clear about, like, I don't want to, hopefully the perception is like, oh, Ryan's this greedy guy and the Colemans are this abundance mindset. This thing is like, if you know me, like literally for the past 2-3 years, just abundance, give.
Absolutely.
And if you call me up and ask for help, you can look at my DMs, you can look at my emails,
Absolutely.
I've never turned anybody away.
Absolutely.
I may not answer the question. I may redirect to a different source because it's there versus me have to go through it again.
Right.
But like, that's not me. I'm not the guy that's like, that's why I say, like, talking about Grant, it's like, I don't have that in me. I'm like, here's the information. Pay me if you want to. So, but being that way, I've only been paid. I've made a ton of referrals. I've made a ton of introductions. I've made a ton I've made a ton of people a ton of money.
Yes.
And in the past 2-3 years, I've only gotten paid on one singular thing. And shout out to Casey and Jason Della. Because I
love Casey and Jason Della.
To the delis. I'm gonna.
The delis.
Yeah,
yes,
that's just
that's an inside joke.
Yeah.
To the delis.
Yeah.
That's not their name.
That's an Instagram story from now on. Or GIF it up.
Yeah.
To the delis.
Mad Gab.
Yeah.
Mad Gab.
It's a game.
Say to the delis one more time.
To the delis.
To the floor.
No.
Anyway, so, but my point being is like, so that's where a lot of my mindset of, as far as this conversation, is not necessarily theory, but it's more of, I don't think the other 2-3 years of people that needed help were taking advantage of me. I just think, and I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm just saying it's just maybe they don't, because they're new to the business, they don't know that unwritten rule of you need to pay somebody if they
right. Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I think that, again, whenever you're asking for help from someone, don't just expect that person to be giving that value to you free. Don't expect that. I think that's kind of what you're saying. I mean, yes, people want to help you, but in return, what value are you giving them? Mm-hmm. Are you giving them value monetarily? Are you providing value in another way? Value needs to be exchanged, not just one-sided.
And and I think that sometimes it took me a long time to actually get that revelation, that light bulb went off, because I would be talking like I'm a talker. I could be talking to people and he'll just come in and then he started talking about like I'm like, oh my God, we were just having this fabulous conversation. Now we're talking about, and he'll just come in and close it. And I was like, I wasn't even thinking that. That was so wonderful. He was like, yeah, you were building a rapport and I just came in and closed the deal. But I was never thinking of closing it. I was just building a rapport, but to no end, with almost like I was, on the horse, but we weren't going anywhere. We were, nowhere at all. We were just swirling in the rapport.
I was actually having this conversation 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
I was on a date.
Woo! Might not be DFW's most eligible anymore, man. Okay.
Anyway, I was on a date, and it was funny because like the human I was interacting with, like this person, she was like, I'm really good at sales, but I hate marketing. I suck at marketing, and I'm like, that's super interesting because I think I'm fairly good at the marketing side, but I'm not a fan of the sales side,
right?
Because my personality is I don't want to be sold. Right. Give me the information, and I'll make an educated decision. Therefore, that's how I am going to interact with you.
Right.
Like if I love Apple computers, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to have an Apple computer. At the same time, I'm not going to say you're not leaving this house until you buy my Apple computer.
Right.
You either see the value, you don't.
Absolutely.
So like I just don't have that in me. I used to do oil and gas for like 6 months, and literally that's the kind of job of really.
Yeah,
sir, you need to talk to your wife.
Yeah,
you need to talk to your wife to pay $200,000 to be a part of this. Well, really, be a man.
Yeah,
be a man.
Absolutely.
Like I don't have that in me. I'm like, hey, no, but that's the business.
That's the business.
Like here's the prospectus. Here's the opportunity. Do you see the opportunity? I've laid out everything there is. It either works for you or it doesn't. And that's my sales approach. Versus in that business is, come on, man, dig down deep and just do it.
Yeah.
And I don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. So that being said, who's the marketer? Who's the salesperson in y'all's team, or y'all both the same?
So I would say, I don't know. I think that I'm probably the deal structurer, negotiator, and closer. I think I'm probably the one that
2 choices.
I think that I'm the one. Well, I'm thinking, because he just hit me with it. I think I'm probably the closer, the sales piece.
Ding ding.
And what are you?
The marketer.
Yeah.
What's more important?
Both. They're equally important.
I think it all starts.
You know what I'm asking?
James.
Yeah. I know.
You said James.
JMC.
Oh, I think you said James.
No, I was saying JMC. They're equally important.
Yeah, I think that it all starts with marketing. I think that marketing is probably. I think they go hand in hand because you have to market it in order to have the opportunity to close it. But I think that closing it is the most important piece, because I think that when you're closing, you have to identify an opportunity to close. I think that opportunity comes across. This is just my philosophy. I feel like opportunity is all around you. I feel like there is no lack of true opportunity. It's just a matter if you see the opportunity. Like before we got into real estate, I would drive past vacant houses every day and never saw an opportunity. Now I drive past a vacant house and I'm looking like, wow, that's an opportunity to make $10,000. Need to research it and see if I can get a hold of this person. Yeah. I think the closing piece, being able to identify the opportunity and then close the opportunity, is probably the most critical piece, but the marketing is tremendous.
Yeah, and it's just about that see it versus not see it, because like bandit signs, like if you're aware of bandit signs, you see bandit signs every single street, especially in DFW.
Yeah,
every single street corner. But like if you're not in the business, you're like, yeah, I've seen a couple signs, Yeah, there's 200 in the last quarter mile.
Right.
But then I remember being in Phoenix last year, going because talking about marketing, you know, you're always kind of aware of what people are up to. I didn't see a single bandit sign. People are like, well, it's because it's illegal to do from Monday through Thursday. I'm like, I don't care. You go to DFW, it's like, oh, you put the sign out at noon and by 3:00 it gets pulled. So nobody does it. I'm like, nah, they're thinking I got 3 hours of stage time and it's worth it.
Which I don't even understand why it's a code, you know, kind of like why code enforcement
it's littering.
I get it, but I don't understand it. Why that's the take on it? Because I'll let you finish. Can we come back to that? I want to talk about
go
that
for
actually.
it.
So for me, you know, obviously I believe in respecting the rules set forth by the cities and by the counties and things like that. But I just don't think that the county sometimes sees when these bandit signs are being put out there, it's in return to fix up and beautify that neighborhood. It's in return to help the value of that neighborhood get established. It's return to help the value of the neighborhood increase. So to have a sign out there for somebody that has a property that they want to sell that you can fix up. I mean, just think about how many houses in the neighborhood where there may be a beautiful house and then there might be a fire damage house right next to it, or a crack house or something right next to it, a vacant house that's right next to it. And then the person has a beautiful house right next to the vacant house and they got their kids running around and stuff. So for a bandit sign to be put in that area and for that opportunity to be able to, you know, the opportunity to be able to fix up that house and, you know, and make it a safer place to beautify the neighborhood, to push the property values up, which in turn for the city and the counties will help to increase the property value, which means higher taxes. I mean, it's a win-win for that bandit sign being out there. But I just have a different take on that personally.
So I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap up on this kind of talk at the moment. But I'll raise you a thought process. And this might be a little controversial.
Okay.
So what are the two mission statements of a typical police force?
Serve and protect.
Yeah.
Protect and to serve. Right.
Yeah.
Protect and to serve.
Yeah.
So why are all the police on the damn highways giving tickets? And keep in mind, I'm all black to blue.
Right.
I'm all, first responders.
Right.
MAGA.
Right.
I was in the Marines. I'm very patriotic like that. But I thought again, it's the 28th of the month. All of a sudden, why is there so much crime and it takes an hour and a half for a 911 call versus, you're getting a ticket for going 68 and a 55 or whatever. And again, I know that's whatever. But that's why I'm answering your question. That's how I'm answering your question is, this area needs to be fixed and we're trying to fix it through this strategy. Why do they care?
Right.
It's because they don't care.
Right.
Going back to my original statement.
Yeah.
People don't care.
Is that going to be the name of this show?
People don't care.
People don't care with the Colemans.
Or I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. No. But anyway, so wrapping up, I enjoyed having you all on.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
So any final thoughts, any final messaging, any final plugs, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. So just wanted to say, hey, again, obviously my name is Jay Coleman, my wife, Marsha Coleman. We would love to work with anybody out there. If you have any deals you need assistance with, if you have any deals that, you have under contract right now, you need help finding a buyer for, you are an aspiring wholesaler and you just need some help in a little direction to get some deals done, feel free to reach out to us. Also, you can go to jmcpropertygroup.com, or I'm very active on Facebook so you can PM me. Also, I was going to say we have JMC Realty Group coming out, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That's definitely going to be a game changer for the industry, for our market. Just the way that we'll be performing that service is going to help a lot of people out, take a lot of bottlenecks out of their day-to-day operations, or JMC on the go. Rather, that's going to be taking a lot of bottlenecks out of a lot of people's operations and just kind of helping them focus on the higher generating activities. We got JMC Realty Group on the way, so we're definitely trying to expand, into different businesses and to help and help others. So if we can help you, let us know for sure. I mean, so I would say that the action step would be reach out to us and let's talk and see if we can do business together.
Marsha Coleman, Jay Coleman on Facebook. Reach out to us.
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
Rep your set.
Rep your set.
All right.
Rep your set. Well, again, thank you so much. I think this is fun. If y'all enjoyed it, like, subscribe, share, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you,
All
Ryan.
right.